I straight put it down and I'm repping the brown. And fuck all the haters that's running them out. They ain't about shit, they just love talking loud. Cause they know I'm a hoodstar, they're chasing the clout. I brush it away and I stick to my route. I'm moving on up and fuck all of the doubts. A hoodstar, a G, and I'm repping it proud. A hoodstar, a G, and I'm repping it proud. Straight for the raza, so bump it out loud. I straight put it down and I'm repping the brown. And fuck all the haters that's running them out. Cause they ain't about shit, they just love talking loud. They know I'm a hoodstar, they're chasing the clout. I brush it away and I stick to my route. I'm moving on up and fuck all of the doubts. A hoodstar, a G, and I'm repping it proud. Straight for the raza, so let it bump loud.
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment, Hood Stars.
What's good, G Life? Now right here, we have the city of Santa Monica. Located right here in the Four Corner District, or what's known as the Four Corners. Now it's known as the Four Corners due to the four dominant neighborhoods that control turf over here, being Culver City, Venice, Hotel, and Santa Monica as the major players. Because Santa Monica, even though is known for the pier, it's beautiful, beach, sunny skies, perfect cruising spots, the strips, and all of that. It's also gang infested. You know what I mean? Like I've said this before, every city has its nice parts and every city has its bad parts. Santa Monica being no different. It does have its areas where it gets treacherous, especially right there on 17th Street, and all, through those outskirts. It'd be going down. And the reason we're here is because this is home to Chicano rap legend Frank V from Proper Dos. Frank V being one of the pioneers when we're talking about Chicano rap, because even though Chicano rap had existed, you know what I mean? You had Kid Frost, Metal Mayonnaise, Psycho Realm, you had Lighter Shade of Brown, and individuals like that. Chicano rap wasn't what it is to nowadays. It was barely coming up, so it was still in the early processing, early stages. And I feel like Frank V and them, when they came in, they helped elevate it. You know what I mean? Because their albums are classics. You know what I mean? All their albums are good, and they created a lot of albums. There's a lot of material there, to select from. Well, Frank V, he himself only dropped 2 albums, that were his albums. You know what I mean? Which is Enemy of the State. Which is one of the albums, and then he does have like several other collabs that he did with certain individuals, like Southland, a lot of the Chicano rap, the group projects that they did, like the Best of Chicano Rap, and albums like that, that he worked with, because he did work with a lot of people: Little Rob, Night Owl, Royalty, Low Profile, Southland, Mr. D, Mr. Shadow, he worked with Young Thrive. He worked with a lot of people, a lot of individuals. Like I said, he's been in the game for a long time. One of the pioneers. And like I said, and hearing that right. So even though he himself dropped only 2 CDs, as Proper Dos, him and Ernie G, they themselves dropped, a bunch of albums. You know what I mean? A lot of really good ones, like they dropped Mexican Power in 1992, then they dropped We're At It Again in 1995, and then 1998 they dropped Heat, and then 1999 they dropped Overdose, and then 2005 they dropped Old School Ways. You know what I mean? And then like I said, there's more projects within there, and they were doing their thing, man. They were legit, homie. They have a lot of classics that won plaques, that sold freaking thousands and thousands of copies of those albums, especially when we're talking about the first 2 albums, Mexican Power and We're At It Again. Those are some of the best. Those are the ones that I recommend. I definitely recommend those. You know what I mean? I recommend all their albums, but the first 2 are definitely, really good. Now, the group did take, they went their separate ways, not due out of like beef or nothing like that. It's just, life got in the way. They started getting older. The chemistry wasn't really there no more. They were partying it up because, they were living it up, and they just kind of drifted, and just, did their own thing. They came back together to drop a few projects here and there. But it wasn't like the chemistry that they had before. You get what I mean? That's why I recommend the first original albums. And the reason, speaking of Frank V, Ernie G, he gets down, producing and making beats. He deserves credit. It's a team effort. But Frank V, him rapping, being the one that's rapping and all that, and being able to to work with other performers like, Mr. D and Southland. And, because they did bounce around. Frank V did bounce around a few labels, you know what I mean? From Scandalous Records to Southland Records, to some independent labels. He was, doing his thing, dropping a few albums, here and there, you know what I mean? There's about 9 albums in total to select from. And not only that, but considering, all the songs that he's featured in, so he had a really, really good career. You know what I mean? And he was born and raised and brought up out of Santa Monica, right here in Santa Monica. Like I said, it's treacherous because he is a member of the Barrio Santa Monica 13. Barrio Santa Monica 13 is pretty well-known, respected neighborhood right here in Santa Monica. Has been around since, I was told, since the 1930s, 1940s, so roughly around that time. So that's already an old school barrio, you know what I mean? Not only that, but it's deep, you know what I mean? Because, it has a shitload of cliques from 17th Streets to the Little Locals, to the Pee-wees, to the, they just have, a bunch of cliques. They do share territory right there with the graveyard, the cribs, they do, are established right there as well. Now, the Santa Monica 13 neighborhood, their territory is from Pico Boulevard all the way to Lincoln, and so it's Olympic, and in between Olympic and Pico, so from Lincoln all the way down to 33rd. So that's already a vast amount of territory, you know what I mean? So that's from 22nd to 19, 18, 17, 20, 21, and so on and so on. So that's a lot of turf that they control, you know what I mean? Now their main zone, though, the danger zone, right there by the cemetery and the parks and all that. But their main terrain is right there on 17th Street. That's why the 17th Street clique is one of the most recognized and notorious, right there on Michigan and 17th. That's where it be going down, and that's where you have the graveyards as well. Like I said, it just be going down right there. Sad, people think that Santa Monica is a nice area and there ain't nothing cracking there. But like I said, don't ever let, the stories deceive and fool. You know what I mean? It goes down anywhere. And here in Santa Monica is no different. This neighborhood, like I said, been around since the 1920s, very notorious, large, in numbers, with vastly, I was told more than 400 members. So, I mean, that's quite, that's a large amount. Like I said, they've been around for a long time already. So this is the neighborhood of Frank V, he was rolling with and putting it down for in his music and, representing for, you know what I mean? So he did make it out of the struggle, out of a chaotic situation environment. Now, Frank V did go MIA, has been MIA. They said he's incarcerated. I can't confirm that, but that's what they say. And he did say he has some warrants out for his arrest, so maybe. Like I said, it's rough. Sometimes, even when you live the high life, sometimes your ego could get the best of you, and, you make some, you don't make the best decisions. That could happen to anyone, even those who, who made it out and, are living nice. They're not immune to it. But, if he does come out, I'm pretty sure he'll drop some projects. He'll definitely come, he likes to do that, and every time he releases an album, it's always fire. He does put heart and soul and dedication into his albums. I honestly feel that when he comes with an album, he actually does. He's not trying to screw people over money. It's not a hustle or nothing like that. He legitimately puts his effort, heart, and soul into the songs, into the albums. So when you do pick up his CDs, at least you're getting his effort on there. You know what I mean? He's not gonna release something if he doesn't feel like, it didn't have the passion in there. He has said that plenty of times in interviews, and I could tell from the music, hearing it, I could tell that he's legit. Now, I'm not saying all his songs are good and all that stuff and everything like that, but I'm saying that when I have bought the album, I was satisfied, on my money's worth. You know what I mean? So it was money well spent. not gonna say that the albums are perfect and stuff like that, because no albums are perfect, but I know I got my money's worth, and and it was money well spent. And so there's plenty of variety to choose from, from all those albums of Proper Dose to his 2 individual albums. But I do recommend the first 2, and the songs I do recommend is Mexican Power, Ghetto Baseball, Hard Times, and Stories of the West Side. Those are classics, some of the best rolas. And yes, there's others, like I Need to Feed Behind That, and all of that. It's because of him, a lot of these words or lingo and all that gets used and everything like that. Like I said, he was a pioneer. He definitely was a pioneer in what he did, spitting it the way he spit it. Nobody spit it the way he was spitting it when he came out. You know what I mean? He was very gifted. And like I said, him and Ernie G had that chemistry together. When you have a rapper and a producer who just gel well together, you're going to get a masterpiece of a CD, 50 Cent and Dr. Dre, or The Game and Dr. Dre. P. Diddy and Biggie, individuals like that, when you're gelling together, you're gonna drop fire, homie. You know what I mean? And I honestly feel that they had that, and in their later career, yeah, maybe the fling, the magic went away or whatever. But it was still good stuff. Now, Proper Dose. Now, I know that it's Proper Dose, but Ernie G didn't produce all the songs on those albums, especially the first 2. I know people like to think that, but no, there was other individuals involved. But a majority of it was. That's why it's Proper Dose, the group or whatever. But Frank V was the voice of the group, so obviously the rapper, the one that was front and center. That's why I say check out his music and his albums and stuff like that. And if he is incarcerated, well, he'll get the royalties and, make good out of the scenario that he's in until he comes out. Because, if it's just warrant, so he shouldn't be in there for that long. So, but yeah, peep out his music. I'll do the reaction right now for you guys to get a feel of it. I know what I'm saying. I'm confident in recommending this artist, and he definitely had talent, you know what I mean? There's no doubt in my mind about that. And yeah, this is who Frank V was, who he put it down for, where he came from, out of Santa Monica, the barrio Santa Monica 13, 17th Street, where he be going down. And he made it out the jungle. He does come out of this environment, and this is who he was putting it down for, the area representing and holding it down. But yeah, check out his albums. There's a variety and a lot of good to choose from. But yeah, that's Frank V. Got a Proper Dose right there. And here we'll start off with one of my favorite songs from Proper Dose, Frank V. This one to me is one of his all-time greatest songs, and remains one of my favorite songs in general. The reason for that being the beat. I like the beat, the flow of it, the pacing, and best of all, the story that he's telling in this song. Storytelling is important, sticking on the subject and everything, but the way he breaks it down, the metaphors he uses to break down the kind of life that he lives in the scenario, and the terms that he uses, with the metaphors is phenomenal. Not only that, it's storytelling, but it's also gangster because of what he's talking about. So therefore, it's the perfect combination, going based on the music that I like. But I'll let him tell it.
Made an error. Our friends are on second base and trying to make it all the way home.
Running down the street, chasing a sucker. In my hand, I got the Louisville Slugger. Cut up to the motherfucker and start to have fun, swinging on his ass like I was trying to hit a home run. He got his motherfucking face split. Now you can chalk that up as a base hit. Then his homies came 3 deep and I said, damn. So what you do? I hit a motherfucking grand slam to one foot a 38. So now I'm running my ass off, trying to get to home plate. Seen an umpire and ducked out of sight, cause that motherfucker would try to give me a third strike and send me back to the dugout. And I'll be calling my mom collect, trying to get the fuck out. But I'll be damned if I take the fall. Caught up in the mix, playing ghetto baseball.
That was already brilliant as it is. I love that beat too.
Now I'm westbound on Pico. I seen some members of my team rolling in a Regal, crack the top of that champagne. We won another game, should have been down. Told you that in my last rhyme. Now ghetto baseball, that's my favorite pastime. If you think I'm lying and you try to play me dumb, bring your stupid ass on down to the stadium. But before you come, you better check the stats. And it's all for them fools that want a rematch. Going off like we're trying to win the pennant. Bring that ass down and my foot'll be up in it. And then I'll ask who's next. Swinging like the babe, putting fools on the deck. So when you come punk, you better come strapped, cause the motherfucking Mexican is up at bat.
That Ghetto Baseball. Brilliant. That is brilliant conducting. He knew when to. Perfect chemistry. See how they just threw that in there? That's conducting, homie. Hey, we should let her like harmonize it right here. I'm telling you, man, this is brilliant.
You peoples don't know me that good. If you don't know that I could swing a bat good, you would think I was a good friend of Casey's. I'm standing on the plate, but them putos won't face me. Cause they know I do damage, they know I'm a savage. And they know my batting average ain't nothing nice, bitch. You punk motherfuckers better stop and think twice before you fuck with the West Side crook. Especially when I took what I took. Because I think I'm hallucinating, soldier. Cause all I see is a baseball on top of your shoulders. So I'm loking up, choking up on the bat, swinging, another punk lays flat. It's like that for no reason. You fools better try to come back next season. And don't expect us to go on strike, cause we'll be some ghetto baseball playing motherfuckers for life.
We're gonna harmonize it out. He stayed consistent to his story. It matched. Brilliant way of metaphoring it. The storytelling, the harmonizing, the conducting, Ernie G nailed it too. He's very underrated when it comes to like producing, making beats and stuff like that. He definitely has talent. Like I said, they had good chemistry. You know what I mean? There's a Santa Monica sign right there. Yeah, they had good chemistry going between them. Like I said, they had a lot of talent. He's very skillful in what he does, when it comes to storytelling, rhyming, and just the way he metaphors things. He'll forever go down as, one of Chicano rap's, all-time, greats in his own right, you know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Any rappers you guys want me to cover, go ahead, leave them on the comments. And that's Proper Those, Frank V right there. Go check out his music. There's a lot of good tracks out there. And Shadow, we out.